Hi everybody, welcome to Purple Goddess Timely Tarot reading. Really good to be here, and I've got an amazing card today in the Suit of Swords, which is about our mental activity. So are you ready for the card? This card has got so many levels and layers of meaning. What I want to suggest to you is that you take what resonates and leave the rest. Okay, here we go. Now this card is the Seven of Swords, and we've got a character here with five swords in their hand. They're leaving town and they're looking over their shoulder like, oh my gosh, is anybody going to catch me as I slide away here? And they're leaving two swords behind. So when you pull this card in a traditional tarot reading, the tarot reader will say, oh, are you engaged in some kind of sneaky behavior right now? You trying to get away with something? And you're checking to see if you're going to get caught? Or do you think there's somebody doing some kind of sneaky behavior to you? So I don't know which of those resonates, but it's a very interesting card which talks about having to tiptoe around something. But I like to think of this card as something that we might all be engaged in when we are going through change. And we are in a lot of change in the world right now. We're moving from the old world, patriarchal world order to, a different kind of world order. And how are we going to navigate that change? And one of the great TV shows right now that you might be interested in if you haven't found it is And Just Like That. It's called And Just Like That, which is the sequel to Sex and the City. So many years ago, Sex and the City was, four women having, a great time in New York City. And now fast forward many years later, they're older, they're confronted with the world today and a lot of new things that they have to navigate. For example, one of the characters has to navigate, do they have a funeral for a family member in, an old kind of funeral home, or do they have a funeral in a more modern way? And in another part of the story, one of the characters is going back to school as a mature student, and she's having to navigate being in a class as an older student. The professor's young and is a political black activist academic, and she's trying to, figure out what's appropriate to talk about and how should she behave in this class. And in another part of the show, there's a lot of challenges about gender and learning about pronouns. So this is a very, very contemporary show which talks about moving forward into, something new and having to leave the old world behind, and hopefully not having to engage in sneaky behavior to do it. But sometimes, we have to tiptoe around situations when people don't always understand why we would want to go through some kind of transformation. They might want to hold us back. They might want to say, hey, stay with us here. There's a group of people, think back over here in this card, they maybe don't want this person to leave. And this person's got a red hat and red boots, and red is about passion and will. So where are you right now? Clear, about your journey forward. And you might be, looking over your shoulder, but on the other hand, you've got this really strong lifeblood inside you that says, I'm going to, mature and grow and move forward as best I can. Now, one of the things I want to say politically about this card is that, we may be tempted from time to time to tiptoe around things like, for example, Black History Month. For many years, I would just walk by the person on Bloor Street who was standing there waiting for people to talk to them about Black History Month. I just didn't want to, engage or know. And this year I've decided to not tiptoe around this issue. What are the challenges that I need to confront around Black History Month? So I learned, for example, that one of the churches in my hometown in Niagara turned out to be a very famous congregation that helped people at the end of the Underground Railway. I really was shocked to find out that my place that I grew up was at the end of the Underground Railway, and that a very famous woman by the name of Harriet Tubman in the 1800s attended that church and helped many people through that journey and helped them get established and set a new life, free of slavery. And I can't believe I grew up not knowing this history, not knowing anything about this particular situation in my hometown, something that now I'm just enormously proud of, and I look forward to learning more. So I just want to invite you to think about, where are you tiptoeing around something maybe that you don't want to see, and what's your invitation as a result of a card like this to just kind of face it and learn something new. So here's to some interesting February energy that's coming through this month, and I encourage you to not have sneaky behavior and kind of grasp all that you need to grasp around being in this place of the old and the new, and to remember that when we challenge ourselves and stick with a lot of our really good mental activity, amazing things can happen. We can learn, we can grow, and we can be better human beings and embrace all of the richness that life has to offer us. So take care, and I look forward to being with you again next week. Bye for now.